Have you ever stopped to wonder why some of the deepest truths in life come from the most unexpected places? Not from the people who raised you, not from the mentors you paid thousands of dollars to learn from, but from a complete stranger sitting on a cold sidewalk with nothing left to lose. This is a story about Steve. Steve was a regular guy with a regular job, living a regular life. He wasn't searching for wisdom. He wasn't chasing answers or trying to find himself. He was just trying to get through his week like everyone else. Wake up, go to work, pay the bills, repeat. But sometimes, life doesn't ask for your permission before it changes you. A few weeks ago, Steve was involved in a car accident. Nothing dramatic. No ambulances, no hospital visits. He walked away without a single bruise. But his car didn't get so lucky. The front bumper was crushed, the headlights shattered, and the hood bent inward like it had lost a fight. The insurance company did their part and sent the car to a repair shop. But the mechanic was honest. At least 2 weeks, he said, maybe more. That's when the real problem started. Steve still had to get to work every day. His office was on the other side of the city, and without his car, he was stuck. No backup plan, no rides, no shortcuts. His only option was the metro train. Now Steve hadn't taken public transport in years. He'd grown comfortable in his own bubble. His car, his playlists, his temperature control, his predictable routine. Everything quiet, everything controlled. The metro was none of that. It was loud, crowded, raw. People pressed shoulder to shoulder. Conversations overlapped. Phones buzzed. Trains screeched. It felt chaotic. But what caught Steve off guard weren't the sounds, it was the faces. He noticed people he had ignored his whole life. Workers heading home after long, exhausting shifts. Mothers holding sleeping children against their chests. Students hunched over textbooks, eyes tired but determined. Old men staring blankly out the window, lost in memories no one would ever hear. This was real life, unfiltered, uncomfortable, humbling. One evening, after another long day at the office, Steve was walking through the metro station toward the exit. His mind was elsewhere, thinking about deadlines, bills, repairs he still hadn't handled at home. And that's when he saw him. A homeless man sat against the cold concrete wall near the station exit. His clothes were torn and faded, his hair unwashed and tangled, his face deeply tired, not just physically, but spiritually. But there was something in his eyes, not anger, not bitterness, just quiet acceptance. He wasn't shouting for money. He wasn't holding a cardboard sign. He wasn't trying to get attention. He just sat there, still and invisible, as hundreds of people rushed past him. Steve slowed his pace. For a moment, he thought about walking by. Everyone else was doing exactly that. Why should he be different? But something stopped him. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was empathy. Maybe it was just a rare moment of humanity, cutting through the noise. Steve reached into his pocket, pulled out some loose change, and dropped it into the small cup in front of the man. The man looked up, surprised, almost startled, like he had forgotten what kindness felt like. "Thank you," he said softly. "God bless you, brother." Steve nodded, gave an awkward smile, and walked away. His chest felt slightly warmer. It wasn't much, just spare coins, but it mattered. The next evening, Steve left work at the same time. Same route, same metro station. And there he was again. Same man, same spot. This time, Steve didn't walk past. A thought hit him. When was the last time this man had a real meal? Without overthinking it, Steve turned around and walked to a small diner just outside the station. He ordered a hot meal, a burger, fries, bottled water, and a coffee. Nothing fancy, just food. When he handed the bag to the man, his reaction was unforgettable. It wasn't just gratitude, it was disbelief. Like his mind couldn't process why someone would do this. "Thank you so much," the man said, his voice shaking. "You don't know what this means." Steve smiled. "No problem, man. Enjoy." But curiosity took over. Steve crouched down beside him and asked the question that had been sitting in his mind since yesterday. How did this happen? How did you end up here? The man held the warm coffee cup with both hands like it was a treasure. Then he looked at Steve and smiled gently. By showing love, he said. Steve blinked. What? The man took a slow breath. My whole life, he began, I made sure everyone around me was okay. I helped people constantly. Didn't matter what was happening in my own life. I was always there for others. He stared into the cup. A friend needed money? I gave it. A coworker needed help? I stayed late. A neighbor needed support? I showed up. Steve listened closely. I thought that's what life was about. Giving, loving, being available. He looked up. I believed if I kept giving, it would come back to me. That when I needed help, those same people would be there. Steve already felt the weight of what was coming. So, do you regret it? Steve asked. The man shook his head slowly. No, I don't regret being kind. I don't regret loving people. Then he paused. But it hurts, he said quietly. It hurts to realize the people I gave everything to wouldn't give me anything when I needed it most. Steve felt those words sink deep. The man leaned forward. Let me tell you something I wish someone told me years ago, he said. It's better to build your own house first and then invite people in, than to give away your bricks while you're still trying to build your foundation. Steve felt a chill, because one day, the man continued, you'll turn around to look at where your house should be, and there will be nothing there, just dirt and weeds. He paused, and then you'll be the one standing in the cold, hoping someone helps you. Silence. You can't pour from an empty cup, the man added. I poured until there was nothing left, and when I was empty, everyone had already moved on. Steve stood slowly. This man, forgotten by society, had just given him one of the most powerful lessons of his life. Thank you, Steve said, meaning it deeply. The man smiled peacefully. Build your foundation first, he said. Protect your peace. Then help others from strength, not emptiness. Steve gave him everything he had in his wallet that day and walked toward the platform. On the train ride home, Steve stared at his reflection in the glass and asked himself a question he'd never dared to ask before. Am I building my own house or giving away all my bricks? So now I ask you, are you building your foundation, or are you so busy helping everyone else that you've forgotten yourself? Kindness is beautiful, generosity is powerful, but wisdom is knowing when to give and when to protect what you're building. Don't ignore your own garden while watering someone else's. Don't fix roofs while yours is leaking. Build your house first, then invite others in. Because the world doesn't need more broken people trying to save everyone. It needs whole people who give from overflow, not emptiness.